In a healthy relationship, you get to be you as you change and shift and grow without being expected to be who the other person or people need and want you to be in order to keep them comfortable.
There's 4 kinds of love. And I want you from now on to decide, when you're interacting with those you love, which level of love are you going with? Level 1 love is baby love. How loving are babies? No, they're not. I feel the same way. We all love babies, but it's because we're drugged, right? Babies love us as long as we give them
what they want.
If you don't give a baby what he wants, what does a baby do? Scream, yell, whine, right? Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Erica? If you don't give me what I want. So that baby love, that brat-like love, is not really love. It's just a demand. So that's level 1. Level 2 would be, okay, I'm gonna love you, I'm gonna give to you, I'm gonna support you, but there's a hook on the other end. I call it horse trading. I'm giving, giving, giving. I might even say I want anything, but in the back of my mind, if I don't receive some point, I'm pissed off. That's not love. When you love somebody, what will you do for them? What will you do?
Anything.
Anything. You're not doing it to get something. So when you give, and there's some part of you, and sometimes we do it consciously to get something, sometimes it's unconscious. We don't even realize it. I'm expecting if I give to you, you'll give back to me. You don't, I'm pissed off. That's not love, that's horse trading. Another word more direct that sounds pretty horrible is whoring. Both men and women whore. We've all been whores where we gave, but only to get. Well, maybe you've not been that. Who here has ever acted like one? Because a whore will give you love as long as you give her what she wants. Who's ever done this, man or woman, before in your life where you horse traded? Let me see your hands. Oh yeah, 2 guys in the room, sure. But I see you raising your hand, Erica, and I trust you for that. I respect you for that. There's a 3rd level of love, almost done. 3rd level is real love. Real love is something you give because it's who you are. You're not giving it because they did what you wanted. You're not doing it because they're going to give you something back. It's because to withhold your love is the only thing that gives you pain. Whenever you think you're punishing another person by withholding your love, you're punishing yourself. When you just give that love, it's pure. And what's the 4th level? 4th level is people like Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who they love even, it's pure spirit love. You love even those that hurt you. Now you don't stay there and let them continue to hurt you, but you still love them. The Dalai Lama, if you ever spend time with him, he doesn't pray for the Chinese soldiers because he feels he's better than they are. He really prays that they get escape from the pain, even though he lost his family, his country. It's sincere, it's real. And everyone, you don't have to be Dalai Lama or Nelson Mandela. We've all been in states where we've been magnanimous, where we gave, where there was no return. We gave even those that hurt us, and that's when we become spiritually connected. Now, all of us go up and down this ladder all the time, don't we? We all are baby love brats at times. We're mad not getting what I want. We're all trading at times. Sometimes we're pure love, and sometimes we really step up. The secret is, where's your center of gravity?
A healthy relationship is one you want to be in. Not one that you are in or have been in so long you don't know how to leave, or one that you're used to being in, or one that you're in out of habit or obligation or a sense of responsibility. A healthy relationship is one that you want to be in because it is good for you and the other people involved. Which brings us to the 2nd element. A healthy relationship is one in which you feel affirmed, supported, and encouraged to be the best person you can be. In fact, a healthy relationship makes you want to be a better person. This means that you can be your authentic self, your real self, at all times with the person you're in relationship with. You have your strengths that are recognized and your weaknesses and shortcomings that are accepted, not criticized, but that you're also supported in working out and working through. You have your individual talents and interests that are supported, and your voice, your view, your needs are considered in the things that you do together. In a healthy relationship, you get to be you as you change and shift and grow without being expected to be who the other person or people need and want you to be in order to keep them comfortable. I think another sign of a healthy relationship is that there's trust, honesty, respect, compassion, forgiveness, compromise, and a shared vision, shared interest, and a willingness to practice all of those principles and live up to them to the best of your ability. What's required for a healthy relationship? Let's start here. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Talk about who you are, because you're changing day by day, moment by moment. Talk about how you are changing. Talk about what you want and what you need. Talk about your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears. Talk about what you see and what you know. And always, always be as honest as you can. And as much as you talk, listen. Listen with your ears. Listen with your heart. Listen with your soul. And always be willing to hear something new about the other person. And never, ever, ever use what you hear as a weapon or a tool for dishonorable intentions. Stay present in your relationship. If you want your relationship to be healthy and stay healthy, then you have to be in it, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Be mindful not to allow outside responsibilities, demands, and interests to take your mind and heart and your soul out of the heart of the relationship. If your time and energy and attention is being drawn away, communicate that. Communicate what you're up to so that the other person knows and is aware, even if they don't like it or don't understand. At least they will know that you're still present.
The 5 love languages are 5 different ways to express love on an emotional level. And they are words of affirmation. You look nice in that outfit. Words of affirmation, gifts, universal, to give gifts as an expression of love. The gift says, they were thinking about me. Acts of service, doing something for the other person that you know they would like for you to do. Quality time, giving them your undivided attention. I don't mean sitting on the couch watching television together. Someone else has your attention. But you're looking at each other, or you're taking a walk together and spending time talking to each other. And then physical touch. And out of those 5, the basic concept is that each of us has a primary love language. That's the one that speaks most deeply to us. And if you don't speak their primary love language, you can be speaking some of the other languages, and they still will not feel loved. So it's designed to help couples or any individuals really that care about each other to express love in the most meaningful way to the other person.
Relationships, they just take a lot of maintenance.
They do.
And I think sometimes we forget that we need to maintain all of our relationships, especially during seasons of change.
When we talk about relationships, if we were to put them in order of priority, within the family, let's just go within the family for now. I think the number 1 relationship within the family is yourself. Right?
Right.
And I've shared a story before about a mom that was working with me who I had her list everyone and everything that she's responsible for, that she has to take care of, and she's writing furiously and turns the page and goes to the next page.
Right.
And then she starts slowing down, and pretty soon she's, okay, got it. Guess who was not on the list?
Nowhere was her.
Nowhere.
No name, right.
Who's going to take care of her?
Right.
As she's busy taking care of the baby and take care of her husband.
Right.
So self is first, okay? Second is spouse.
That trips a lot of people up. If I am even going to take care of myself, next has got to be my baby. But the very best thing you can do is have a strong relationship with your spouse.
Yes.
Or whoever your support system is.
That is so important. There are times and seasons, okay? So right after you have a baby, you get consumed with this baby. It's hard to remember that a more important relationship here is the one that you have with your spouse. Only third is children. And I'm not saying they're not important. They made the list. And then after that is extended family, because you got other family besides your spouse and your kids, but they're not as important to you as your spouse and your kids.
Right.
First thing is to work upon yourself a little bit. Spend sufficient time with yourself. Look at yourself carefully. How you are, how you sit, how you stand, how you speak, what you do, what you don't do. I think you must look at yourself very carefully, because the children are picking up everything rapidly and they'll exaggerate. everything that you're doing. So, one foremost thing is, at least make yourself in such a way that you would like to be. Somebody may not approve, it doesn't matter. At least you made yourself in such a way that you like the way you are. At least that much you must do. Maybe you cannot raise to somebody else's standards. We don't know what kind of standards they set for you. But at least you must become the way you like it, the way you are. That is a must. But that will only create the necessary ambience. It still doesn't make you necessarily a good parent, but it creates the necessary ambience. But creating the necessary ambience is a large part of parenthood, large part. If you create the right kind of atmosphere of a certain sense of joy and love and care and discipline for yourself and your home atmosphere, generally they grow up. Of course, you want to provide opportunities for them. Each one of us can provide opportunities only to the extent it's available to us, isn't it? Yes? You cannot provide an opportunity for which you don't have access. You will always do according to your limitations. I'm sure in that area you will do your best, but the important thing is what kind of human beings or brats you raise. For that, what kind of human being are you is an extremely important part of raising children.
So all too often you'll see parenting is all about the doing, all about the commands and the controls and the directives, because we feel comfortable in the knowing. But really the precious jewel of having children is to understand that they come here to teach you how to be, especially young children. They come here to teach you how to be in the present moment. And they ask you to shed your ideas of worth and identity and success, and they ask you to recognize, can you accept me for who it is I am? And you will see most parents do not accept their children for who it is they are, because they're not good enough or great enough or fabulous enough or not some accolade enough, not a degree enough. And then I show parents that the reason they can't do this, accept their child unequivocally for who it is they are, is because they haven't accepted themselves for who it is they are.
I don't believe that you own your children, that you're in control of your children, that you are even above your children. I believe that parenting is one of the biggest responsibilities on the planet, because what you're doing is you're raising an individual.
Yeah.
The idea of parenting is not to raise people that live in this house for the rest of their lives and turn out to be carbon copies of me and my husband, Chris. The idea is to raise individuals that grow up having the capability to discover who they are, to make decisions, to think critically, to have opinions, to be kind to people. And so it's a very difficult parenting philosophy, because it means you're not dictating what's happening, you're guiding what's happening. Now, if something's dangerous, if it's destructive, if it's immoral, if it's illegal, I get final say. I tell you what to think and do. You live in my house, or our house, Chris and my house, and so you still have to make your bed, you still have to do your laundry, you still have to abide by the rules of the house. But we are teaching our kids to think for themselves.
I think that we operate out of fear. The greatest mistake I believe parents make is that we are fear-based. And if we're really honest with ourselves, if we ask, am I saying this out of abundance? Am I freaking out over my kid right now because I'm just coming out of abundance and I trust and I surrender? Or am I freaking out because I'm terrified my kid will be homeless and I will then feel terrible about myself? And that's the ultimate knock. It's not how bad my kid's life will be, but how bad I'll feel that my kid's life is so bad. So that's why we all want our kids to be happy, because we feel good. But just that goal of wanting your kid to be happy is so utopic and so silly, really.
But so cultural, like you even hear that. What do you want for the atypical spiritual types.
Yeah.
What do you want for your child? Well, I don't care what they do as long as they're
happy.
happy.
Yeah, and I don't say,
Wow.
I may say it if I've, you know,
Yeah.
if I've fallen into some stupor
Yeah.
of culture.
Yeah.
But most typically, I won't even use that word
Yeah,
because
that's so
I know that I
interesting.
don't really want that for my kid because
Yeah.
that's impossible to want.
Yeah.
I want my kid to live her life, their authentic life.
Wow.
And if their life happens to be one where they are, you know, being ravaged by storms or tsunamis or, you know,
Dealing with depression. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to
Yeah.
make her feel like, oh, she's just wasted her whole life.
Damn, I failed.
Yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, your whole life is a
Yeah.
cross. Cross it out.
Wow.
It's, do we live authentically or do we try to be happy? You know, and I want to be authentic.
Confident children believe in themselves because you have shown them that they're worth believing in. They have an opinion and a voice because you allow them to have an opinion and a voice. They believe they have a gift and a talent because you showed them. Your gift is for growing flowers. You know, Joe Malone was always making perfume as a kid. Her parents would go, oh, come on, can you learn some maths now? Stop with getting all these petals and putting them in water. Gillian Riley was always dancing. She became an amazing dancer. Get behind your children's gifts and encourage them to monetize their gift. Don't try to make them do what they don't want to do. I work with so many people who say, you know, I'm a lawyer because my dad is a lawyer. I'm an accountant because my dad's an accountant. And I'm so depressed because I'm not following my heart's desire, which, by the way, is one of the #1 causes of depression. Get behind your children, support them, love them, be their cheerleader. Children that thrive need one person to believe in them, and that's you. And if you can do that, they'll still hit road bumps, but they will do better. Because if you believe in them, they will believe in them. Don't overdo it. Don't praise them for everything. Don't fix things. The biggest thing you can give your children is high self-esteem and independence.
Kids obviously need us now, you know, or I should say at the ages of, you know, 1. They need us all the time, but kids are obviously most dependent upon us between the ages of 1 and 8. But it would almost appear like they really need us, especially in the ages of puberty, because they're moving into that space. It's a new dimension, you know, chemically, physically, in every respect. And to me, you know, I've seen myself go through this. I've seen so many of my friends go through it, where they get to that change of life and they don't have that structure or that foundation of trust within their family to be able to talk about stuff that's going on. And as a result, chaos can ensue. So how do we maintain that trust so that when we get to that critical point, that the kids will still engage with us?
Yeah, and the key is, of course, in an ideal world, to start from the very beginning, where you have always, every time your child put a bid out, we talk about, as psychologists, serve and return. And so the child puts a bid out and the parent returns. The baby cries and the parent responds. The 2-year-old has a big meltdown, the mother of all meltdowns, in a public space. You don't go to embarrassment, you go to compassion and you respond. The 5-year-old's frustrated with their brother, you go to compassion and you respond. And so as you get that dance going, then the child knows to trust the dance, that is the way that it's all going to unfold. So by the time we get to the adolescent stage, where we really as parents must be very careful not to retire too soon, because they may be walking around, you know, in adult bodies and getting hairy and stinky, speaking from my own experience, and they still really need us. They need to continue to be in the dance with us, to know that we can be counted on, that they are, you know, by definition in adolescence, they're going to be taking risks. Their brains are black and white thinking right now. And so they're going all big and trying things on for size and figuring out who they are and how they're going to fit in the world. And there will be times when that works out really beautifully for them and times when it really doesn't. They need to know that we'll be there to answer with compassion.